send your best pictures, and the judges who think the best pictures wins will win this nice little hamper here compiled by my good friends of Pop Poetry. Or do it my way, hashtag Pop Poetry on Instagram, and you could win this. All right, so the next group we have, they say they put the IV in Veritas. So give it up for 4 from Veritas.
He killed another man today. Watched as the blood tears coursed down his victim's face, then he knelt beside his cold, dead body to pray. But not because he sought forgiveness, you see, now he did it because it's how his commander said life should be. Because somehow you can take a life with the greatest of pride and still say your night prayers by your cozy bedside. A stone-cold killer in the body of a boy, his eyes are devoid of all life, and this fake smile he wears, it lacks childish joy. The devil incarnate, now that's all that I see when I look at these men who've taken innocent children before they reach the tender age of 3. These children are forced from their homes at young ages and in the most gruesome of ways, and in just a few days, they're turned into monsters. See, I figured that at first they must be scared. I mean, they're snatched from their cribs and so horribly ensnared in these iron cages of will by beasts of men who put guns in their hands and teach them to kill, to go to war and collect the bodies as though the winner is the one that can pile up the highest score. See, it must be difficult at first to learn to shoot straight, handle the sight of a body that you've gunned down, to live with the haunting screams of the victims that you are told you should be proud to have put in the ground. Constant dreams of rivers of red and visions of the dead come alive. People, I can't imagine the guilt that must hit them like this overwhelming tide. 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 13-year-olds, innocent infants who can barely keep themselves clean, shaped and molded into conscienceless beasts of a kind you have never seen. Now take all that and dump it on the shoulders of a barely grown man, a raw young soldier brainwashed into thinking that he can take a life in the name of his religious strife. A teenage boy diseased by the local rebellion that runs rampant in the streets of his boyish mind, defiling him with half-baked lies and rotten treats, offering this twisted candy as a reward for gunning down an entire town. Now, roughly 200 to 300,000 children have been recruited as soldiers in the past decade. That's over 150,000 of our future leaders who have paid with their lives too costly a price set by our ignorance and indifference. Perhaps it is time that we stop pretending that these atrocities aren't happening in our own backyards. Just because that boy lives 3 countries away does not mean that he doesn't deserve the time of yours or my day. Because a child robbed of his childish ways dies 1,000 deaths before his body is allowed to rest and call it a day.
All right, good scores. 8-2, 8-5, 7-5, 8-0, and an 8. Good job. Let's see your duet. Very fast.
Just hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. That's right. Okay, 1 second. Patience. Just chill right now.
Excuse me, but we've been spoken for by all those women who weren't afraid to open a new door, to take the floor regardless of the flaws painted on them. Don't you remember you did this? How years ago we were seen as good as the carpet you stand on, nothing without a man, but when he fell to his knees, we saved him a scar or two, saying, hey, look up, I promise you can do it too. And I'll be a foundation, literally. Excuse me.
Excuse us.
No, excuse me, because as I speak for the rejected and neglected, I know my words will be rejected and neglected by the very female group you expect me to represent. But excuse me, we've been spoken for.
You see, what most of you probably never knew is that men wore heels before we did. But God forbid you mention this to a man who has a kid, because he was brought up in a house where you had to man up. You see, when we took the heels from the man, we learned to take a stand, forgetting our previous states of mind and place, taking us back to the days when we never thought we could win a race. But you see, now we're running a race that everybody knows about. We're running a race where only women are allowed to scream and shout. Feminism. That's what they call it.
Excuse me, and that's only if I'm wrong, but when was the last time you saw a man cry while listening to a song? If your answer's never, I can tell you why. It's because men are raised to never cry. They have to hold it back if they want to be on the right track.
It's okay to be shy, and that's only if you're not a guy. You see, when I cry, the whole world wants to know why, but because you're not what I am, you must be gay. And hey, I didn't write the rules because honestly, I think they were all written by fools.
During the Napoleon era, us women were seen as being an era. Baby-making machines who weren't allowed to wear jeans. But now that I can wear jeans, why can't men wear skirts? You see, this is what hurts, because we're told we're the same, but when a man slips up once, he must be lame. But if it's me, I'm the queen, and of course I make mistakes. I can rest my case.
Enough about you wanting to be tough. Enough about you wanting to be rough. There are other ways for you to get your emotions out. And I'm not telling you to scream, nor am I telling you to shout. I'm just telling you to stand up. Because right now, you're not a man, you're just a mannequin.
See, we're not the ones crying in the sidelines. We're not the ones with the high suicide rates. We're dragging these men to their unwanted fates because what we sow is in fact what we reap. But we're not ready to see a man weep. We've taken away so many of their privileges and inherited so many riches, but the only voices that speak about men are speaking against them.
Excuse us, but I'm sorry for wanting something that was denied to my dad. I'm sorry for wanting something that he never had. You see, not once did I see him cry, and I promise you, that's not a goddamn lie. Even though I saw the pain in his eyes, at a certain point in time, I came to realize that I wasn't supposed to see what he was in fact hiding from me.
We've been spoken to, and I feel like us women have the key to open the new door, but we leave it on the floor knowing very well that no man will pick it up because he doesn't have the guts. And this whole concept drives me nuts. We know you're hurting, but you don't have to do it alone. Just take my hand and let's take a stand. See, I'm a man, and I'm standing for humanity.
All right, okay, guys, I cry, no, but not in front. Any other guys cry? All guys cry. You can't say you don't cry, man. Cry. Be human. 797877778 and another 78. Good job. Let's see your final solo before your boss challenge.
They say to me, get over it. Your kind was freed decades ago. But we are still chained up by your narrow views that refuse the truth. That we no longer yield to your ideals of beauty. See, we can face you now without straightening our hair, and you'll look on bewildered with an irreverent stare. Are you surprised? Surprised that we are no longer your slaves, nor are we the slaves of self-hate. How dare you mistake the color of my skin with self-hate? See, that self-hate you taught me years ago will now and forever disintegrate. Because I am not just pretty for a black girl. See, I am beautiful inside and out. Gone are the days where you teared my integrity apart. Go on, despise me with your contradicting opinions, which are rather shoddy because you worship my features as long as they are not on this body. My full lips, my thick ass, everything but my mind you would like to undress. And as a matter of fact, I do have a mind, but I'm chained up by these narrow views that refuse the truth because every time I speak, they ask ancestors. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my vernacular, but I made the AP class and somehow that's spectacular because I walk in there and they look at me like, you're not supposed to be here. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because my grandparents received Bantu education from your grandparents in an attempt to poison our nation. And for this reason, you believe that prosperity will live and die in my head? For this reason, you think that I will bow down to the mindsets of keeping black people dumb? No. See, I will not drop out of school, nor will I fail school because the white man said so. See, I will be an advocate. I will be the vice president of that bank, not because I said so, but because it is so. See, you believe that because you fed my grandparents lies, I can't be intelligent. Let me tell you something. That is irrelevant because I refuse to be chained up by your narrow views that refuse the truth, that I am just like you. I am just like you. So tell me, why do I have to fight for you to see me as a person before a problem? Why is it that you constantly think I can never blossom? Why are my brothers and my sisters being shot for walking in the streets? Why has the color black become synonymous with defeat? Does equality really exist? Because if so, there must be something that I've missed. Because I know that to the date I'll be chained up by your narrow views that refuse the truth.
All right. What bang? Tell me what bang. That's on some of the bang. All right, 79787980. Professor, that at 8 or 88? Professor?
8.
8. Okay, Professor, give me your 8. All right. Who's leading your group? Who is the leader? You know the deal, right? Let's see your crew. St. Catherine's, get ready. All right, choose 2. Choose 2. You put one back you don't like. Okay, is that the one? Is that? All right, so the topic she has chosen for you is I could have danced all night. Yeah, jive. You're on my mic. You start there, either or.
See, the music was pumping loud, and it was just filling me with the sound, and I could have danced all night.
When I got home, I regretted calling my mom so early. I could have danced all night.
We were slow dancing and he kissed my lips. I could have danced all night.
You see, I could have saved that dance, but instead I chose to glance in his eyes. I could have danced all night.
And then he swung me across the floor, and I was filled with this glow, and I was like, oh, I could have danced all night.
But who cares if I could have danced all night if I could just be with you all night?
She spun me around. I felt like Cinderella. Man, I could have danced all night.
I could have danced all night, but then my heel broke. Jimmy Choos, I could have danced all night.
Okay. Yeah, so my shoes broke, and then I had to go home. Damn, I could have danced all night.
The story is sounding awfully familiar. I could have danced all night.
My mom called me to come back home because I had to do the dishes, so I could have danced all night.
But she didn't dance all night.
All right, let's see your score. Who's the one talking about kisses here? Hey. All right. That's a 7-8. Oh, no? It's an 8. All right, you got an 8, you got a 7.5, you got a 7.6, you got 7.0, and Professor says 7.7. Good job, Veritas.